Up this morning with God on my mind. He's always by my side. I know it'll be a good day. Trials come, but they don't ruin my life. Because I have the light, it's always a good day. I believe everything I said is true. The word is inside you. Declare it is a good day.
Hey, what is up, guys? It is your girl, Donjia M, and we are back with another Ask 15 Questions 2. And today I am here with my girl, my CTS alum, okay? Concert choir. Tashena is in the building. Hey, Tashena, what is up, girl?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So Tashena is here with us doing an Ask 15 Questions to a little person. Proper term, right?
Yes.
Proper term, yes. So I've known Tashena for a long time. I will not tell how long ago it's been since we've been out of high school, but just know I knew her all those times, all the things. And we were in choir together. We did plays together. We went on trips together. She took me to the mall and took me to a store that I will not name because I had never been there before, and I just wasn't ready. But yes, Tashena is my girl. And yeah, so we went to Cicely Tyson School of Performing and Fine Arts in East Orange, New Jersey. And I've known her ever since then. Yep. Literally, ever since then. We've been connected ever since then. So I'm so happy that you agreed to be on this episode and to enlighten us about the world and proper information about little people. I'm really excited for this episode to air and for everyone to watch it. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So do you have anything to say? Because if not, we're going to jump right into the question.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So question number 1. What is the medical term for a little person?
Well, that varies. Overall, it's known as dwarfism. That's the medical term. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of dwarfism. The type of dwarfism I have is called achondroplasia. That is the most popular or common form of dwarfism, but you also have pseudoachondroplasia, primordial dwarfism. It's like all different types.
Wow. Okay, I never knew that. You said thousands.
Yeah, I believe that if it's not there, it's probably on the way there, but it's definitely like hundreds. Like, because there are like some dwarfs that not really sure what type they have, and they're like researching and different things and trying to find a name for it if it's hasn't been discovered yet, because like the gene mutations that occur which cause dwarfism is ever changing. So it depends on which gene mutated, which will determine which type of dwarfism that you have.
Oh, that makes sense. So can you say the type that you have again? Say that name again.
Achondroplasia. It's spelled Achondroplasia, and that is caused by the FGFR3 gene having a slight mutation, which caused me to come out with an average size torso, but a enlarged head and short arms and legs.
And you said that's the most common type.
Yes.
Wow, I never knew that it was so. Oh, see, this is why we do this, because I don't be knowing, and I know people don't be knowing. Okay, question number 2. So, what is the difference? And I don't know if you get this question a lot, but what is the difference between someone who has dwarfism and then I always hear the term midget? Is there a difference?
Yes, it is. First of all, midget, I'm going to be totally blunt. Midget is very, very, very offensive. If you call me a midget, 9 times out of 10, I don't like you. Especially like if I correct you and you still say it. It's the equivalent of calling me a nigger, like, to just be blunt. It's the equivalent of a white person calling us a nigger is what midget is to me. Like, to say little person, you could say dwarf, or matter of fact, don't even say either or. Just ask me what my name is and call me my name. Because I feel like, especially as I get older, I feel like the terms little person and dwarf separate me from being human, and people see me as less than human or subhuman or not really human.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, this is a dwarf. This is, like, or it's like, oh yeah, Tashina, but she's a, like, I'm a human. I'm human just like you. I'm just short.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's the biggest thing what I want people to understand. Like, midget is, it came about during like the freak show circus act days.
Mm.
They they was find different, like the wolf people and all that stuff, and then they
Right.
found little people, and they're like, huh, what do we call them? And midget is a sub definition of a small fly. So it was really coined in a derogatory manner. And
Wow.
overall, like the history going back, they usually use the term midget to describe a proportional short person. But they, of course, with everything, they switch it around and use it in a derogatory manner.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say because I heard um this was like years ago. Um we were at a fair and it was a lady, she was from Jamaica and she was a little person. She was small. But she was, like you said, like she was what's the term you just used? Evenly proportioned. So she just was little. She was just really tiny. Mind you, she had a son who was 6'7". Like she showed us the picture and we were like, whoa. But she is the one who told me that. And I'm like, really? She was like, yeah, like I would be considered a midget because I'm like evenly proportioned, blah, 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 blah. Cause I was young, so I was mad inquisitive. I'm like asking questions. But that she told me that. So I thought that that's actually what it was. I thought the difference was it was just someone like who was extremely tiny that you I didn't know all of that.
Mhm.
Whoa, do not say it.
Yes.
Cross it out of your lingo. Ask people their names.
Yes. Name is the safest bet. Or if you want to describe me, a human that's short.
That's it. That is it. Okay. Wow. That was some information. Okay. So tell us, this is question number 3 or statement number 3. Tell us about your family. So your mom, your dad, your siblings, etc.
Okay, so here's another fun fact. Prior to my son being born, I was the only little person in my family. People with dwarfism are a result of two average height people having, um, coming together, having sex,
Huh?
getting pregnant, and there being a random gene mutation on the FGFR3 gene, which results in dwarfism. Another fun fact, the rates of that go up when the father is over 40, and my dad was 47 when I was born, and when the mom is like advanced age as well. So my mom was 40, my dad was 47 when I was born. And my mom has the opposite of what I have. She has agromegaly, which is gigantism. The same thing. I don't know if anyone knows about Andre the Giant, is what he has. So she had too much growth hormone, and I didn't have enough growth hormone. So that's how I came about with dwarfism. And everyone in my family is tall, at least 5'10" or over. Well, minus like a couple of my sisters. They're like, like 5'4", 5'7", but everyone else is like super tall, uncles, cousins, all of that. So I was the first. And then after that, my son ended up with dwarfism because when you're a dwarf, you have a 50-50 chance of either having an average height child or a child with dwarfism. And he ended up with dwarfism. I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but so that's how that happens. But all of the mutations start with average height uh people. So if
Wow.
you have a whole family where there's none, and it is actually like no indication unless you do like extensive genetic testing to tell if you have a possibility, but it's really just like a random mutation of the gene, and it's really like nothing you can do to keep it from mutating.
Wow. So first off, I didn't know that about your mom all these years. Feel like a horrible friend.
I
Did
did.
not know that. I think I've seen dad mostly, like
Yeah.
all the time, every concert, all the things. Tashina is spoiled, everyone. Let me just give that. I'm going to put a thing that says spoiled alert, not spoiler alert, spoiled alert. Tashina is spoiled. She never wants to admit it. It's typically the people that are spoiled that will never admit that they are spoiled.
But at least I don't act like a spoiled brat. That's
She
like
doesn't.
all the difference in the world.
Yeah, she doesn't. So I will share this story forever in my life. So we went to Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, to sing with our concert choir, and we were on tour. Tashina, like all the rest of us, had to pack all the things, even our choir robes. Tashina forgot. Now, mind you, we are in Cleveland.
Wait. I can explain. I can explain. That was not my fault.
And she will forever say this.
No, I promise you. You can even ask my dad if you don't believe me. We had to get the robes cleaned, and I had to get it tailored, but I couldn't get it cut, so I had to get them to tailor it in a way that the thread could just be pulled out, and then it could pass on to somebody else. I told my dad enough time, like, this needs to be done in the head ahead of time so that I can pack it and it's all good. And he's like, oh, we have time to worry about it. We take it, and when we were supposed to go pick it up, I think it was like the day before we left. They closed early on Friday. I tried to tell them, like, I wanted to avoid it, and we got there and they closed. I think we got there like 7, and like Fridays they closed at 5. So they're closed. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, I can't sing if I don't have the robe. And he's like, don't worry about it. As soon as they open, I'll get it and I'll send it to you. So that whole thing of him saying was because he didn't want to listen to me when I said, hey, I need to have this done ahead of time. If we wait, because I know, like, how my dad is. I love you, Dad, but everything with him, I would be like late or like behind or something like that. And then that's how that happened.
That was the moment where we all were like, this is Princess Tashina. She's getting stuff shipped to her in Ohio. Oh. But we did tell that story. Like, no, it was my dad's fault. This had nothing to do with me. If I left it home, he wouldn't have sent it.
Yeah, yes. Like, seriously, like, if I like left it, if God, like, I really left it, like, oh, well, that's too bad.
And yes, by the way, our choir teacher, God rest her soul, Miss Barnhart was not playing none of the things. Okay. If your shoes was not right, if your dress was not pressed the proper way, if your robe was wrinkled, you were not, even if you had a lead song, she would reassign your solo so fast and you would sit. We did not play that. But she made us into the women we are today. So we're thankful for Miss Barnhart. Okay. And also we'll insert pictures. If you have pictures of your family, I would love for you to send them to me so we can insert them. So question number 4, how did your family handle you being a little person? So you said that you were the first little person prior to your son, and we'll talk about her kids more in a minute. But how did your family handle it?
Overall, I'd say like my dad was like accepting of it. He just viewed it like, well, like he was thankful to God that he entrusted him that much to, have a child that would be different and have to go through like, different struggles than like your typical child. My mom wasn't as accepting. I don't know if she felt like it was her fault or whatnot, but like growing up, she was mostly gone. Like she decided she wanted to work and be like a home health aide and not like stay home and like help raise me. I'm probably catch black for this, but I don't care. I'm speaking the truth. So she wasn't really accepting of it. And then like even I want to say 2017, she like I found out straight up that she didn't want me because I was born with dwarfism. So that hurt, and it's made it like solidified like all of her actions when I was growing up.
Mm.
My siblings overall were accepting of it. My sister would like always be looking out to like if we were around some random kids, like she would always notice if like they were, you know, trying to be funny or whatnot, and be like, "Oh, those aren't your friends. Like they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you." So you know, and I'm like, "No, they're not. No, they're not." But I'm like, she's older, and I'm like, she wouldn't just tell me that because she's just being, you know, mean. So overall, like, you know, they were accepting, protective, and
I
you
was
know,
gonna say that. Were they like overprotective of you?
yeah, like super protective, like not playing with anybody to try to like, you know. So
Oh wow. Yeah, I could definitely see that. One, Tashina is very overprotective, just in general. Even like if she calls you friend, I used to be like, Tashina, the fireball, calm down. So like give me some water. Ready to go. So yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine your family being like super overprotective. So question number 5, what was it like for you growing up?
it's interesting. Like when I was younger and I was a little bit shorter than the kids, but it was like overall normal. Like everybody was like protective and wanted to do everything for me. And then like once the height difference really started, you know, coming in, like I was in third grade and it was like the height of like a kindergartner, that's when
Mhm.
like, you know, I really started noticing like, okay, well, I'm different, and you know, like started experiencing different stuff. Like, of course, unfortunately, I've been bullied, starting as early as elementary school and middle school and high school. Because remember with oh girl, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say names, but
No, no names, please. But
yeah,
yes, I do know.
so you know, and then this like overall being scared to go places, especially like by myself because of what someone would do to me or say to, like not even so much say to me, like actually like do something to me. Because like one time I was on the bus with a friend and you know they were, you know, laughing and saying stuff and then they threw a bottle at us. So, you know, like for like the longest time, like I'd be scared to like be out by myself or be out with somebody that wouldn't be ready to protect me or be able to protect me.
Mm.
Um, so overall, like school, like especially when I left elementary school, like I had like the biggest fear of going to like middle school, high school. Like I begged to be like homeschooled or go to like private school because like I was that scared because I'm like what's gonna happen? Am I gonna find a group of friends that's gonna be like, hey, you're not gonna do that to her, like not so long as I'm here. Like
Period. And
yeah,
that's how we were in high school. Period.
yeah. So I mean overall like once I got to college, it was like a little bit easier, even though that's when like the better camera phones came out, and then I would get random idiots wanting to take my picture, and then even like, hey, please not do that, because it's like you know when somebody's taking pictures, like, oh yeah, you're beautiful, or versus, oh, let me try and sneak take a picture, and then post it and be like, oh, look at this, look at that, like look at
Mhm.
so's, you know, girlfriend, and you know, trying to be funny because
Yeah.
yeah, I had a lot of that happen as well. Like I was in a wedding one time and they caught a picture. It was part of the wedding pictures, and this girl tagged her then boyfriend and her friend in, and then they were talking like a whole bunch of disgusting things, like calling me ugly and saying, yeah, I can't stand, like, mind you, don't know me from a can of paint, talking about if I
Right.
ever see her, I'm gonna spit on her and kick her. Like, who, like, you don't even know me. Like, I never did nothing to you. Like, just because I'm a dwarf, and then like encountering people that have like a fear of people with dwarfism, like you're scared of a person that's short. That's literally you're scared of a person that is short. Like I have more reason to be afraid of what you can do than you could ever be of me. I'm just trying to live my
Yeah.
life as normal as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That is so, it's so sad because I realized that like the differences in the world, people are less accepting of it because they're also not accepting of their own differences or shortcomings or flaws or whatever, so they tend to nitpick on the things that people can see or the things that is like visible, something that they could point out. But that's really because they're just insecure in who they are. Something I could definitely say, well, you kind of segue into, you told us about your journey. That was question number 6. Also, tell us about your journey in school up to college. So you kind of talked about that. But I can say, like, in high school, there was never, and I'm not just saying this because she's here, like, she knows this. There was never a moment where I felt like Tashena was, like, helpless or I needed to, like, be super, like, hey, we were overprotective of all of our like clan, all of us that were together. That's how we just were. But there was never a moment where it was like, oh, Tashena needs me. Or no, Tashena had her own. Tashena was her own person. Sometimes it took me like, okay, Tashena, calm down. Like, relax. I never once ever felt like I saw your height more than I saw you as a person, or I viewed that greater than I viewed you as a person. Never, not once. And I don't think it really even like was a thing that it was like, oh, hey, this is my friend Tashena. Sure. Like, no, like what? I never, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never felt that. You never presented that, even as a person. And even if there were insecurities or ways you felt about yourself, that was never something that was forefronted in like your behavior, your demeanor, the way you carried yourself. Everything you did well. Everything you do well. You have, you could talk about your masters, you could boast on that a little bit more. But yeah, in high school, it was never a moment where it was like I felt like I always had to come to your defense or always had to. Most of the time, Tashena was coming to my defense, if I'm honest. Yeah, it was a thing because I was very timid and I didn't really say too much to people. And Tashena's just like, well, if you don't say something, we just gonna keep the peace, all right? No fighting, no fighting. But yeah, so that was my little spiel. Boom, there we go. So question number 6, you already talked about already. Tell us about your journey in school. You talked about like from elementary to high school into college, but now tell us about this master's that you have.
Well, it's long, well, not long story. Let's tell my long story. So, I finished the classes for my master's in 2017, and then I had to take a comprehensive exam for the master's because you got to prove what you know to get it. I passed 2/3 of it, and I failed one question, so I had to redo said question. But I was currently pregnant with my daughter, and like tripping out because I'm like, oh my God, if I fail this one question, then I have to redo this whole exam, and I do not have the stamina to study for a whole exam. So I put it off until this year, thanks to COVID. That's the only time you'll really hear me say thanks to COVID when it comes to education. Because thanks to COVID, everything was online and digital and through Zoom. So it's like, okay, this is less intimidating to study for it and, be able to pass it and not feel like, I have like proctors breathing down my neck. So I redid the question and I passed. So I officially have my master's, and I studied for those questions while completing a web development boot camp through Rutgers University. Super crazy because I never did web development in my life before, but I'm in the midst of a career change, so I completed 2 educational endeavors at the same time, and
Wow.
yeah, just glad that yeah, girl, because gotta level up.
Yes. So web developer, and then your master's is in psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if you are hiring, reach out. Reach out to us.
Yes, girl. The goal is to eventually have my company, and I'm gonna reach back and grab my.
Yeah. Yeah. That is great. Okay. So, question number 7. Was it hard for you to get into the workforce?
Yes and no. Overall, most of my jobs came from me knowing people, so which is why networking is like super important. The only job that I got from not knowing anyone is the job I'm currently at, which like shocked me because like when I interviewed with her, I could have like you couldn't tell me that she liked me because the way she acted, it was just like I can't see you. I don't know why you're here.
Oh
But
my
the
gosh.
yeah, like she wasn't pleasant. Like everyone else there was pleasant, but she was just like, all right, like oh okay, cross this one off the list. But then when she called me like, yeah, we're in the process of onboarding you. It just takes a while. Like wait, what? Like I could have swore you ain't like me, but okay. So yeah, like different job interviews I went on, like I could tell like just from the vibe that I wasn't gonna get it, but overall I haven't like fully experienced that yet. And then what comes crazy for me is like, okay, did I not get it because I'm black? Did I not get it because I'm a dwarf? Or did I not get it because it's a combination of both?
Right. Wow. And I didn't think about that. Like, wow. Yes. 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 Because I know, I know, like when I go on interviews, that is my thing. And you know me, I'm quick to cut my hair, really quick. Like I will shave the sides. I got the braids going in the middle. I'm doing the thing. And I remember when I interviewed for the job I'm currently at, um, that was like a concern of mine. I'm like, should I like put a wig on, straight hair, like to kind of, in a sense, like dumb down my blackness.
Mhm.
Um, and I mentioned that when we had our like whole thing with our new staff or whatever, I said that. And out of my whole group that was interviewed, and that got the job. I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 of us who ended up like their second interview was with the founder of the school. My first initial interview was with the founder of the school. So when everybody found that out, they was like, "Really? Like, why did you?" I'm like, "I don't know. That's just who they told me I was supposed to be interviewing with." So I didn't think that I was gonna get it, and I said that to her like, "Hey, yeah, sorry, like this is just who I am." On any given day, you may get a different hairstyle from me. That is just the reality of me. And she didn't seem as like like uptight about it or anything. But I didn't think about that. Like, is it because I'm a little person or I'm black or wow, that is something to think about. Okay, so well, I'm gonna add this question. It's not one of the questions because they be bragging on me saying I didn't do 15. Do you remember your first job?
Yes, my first. Now, are we talking like summer jobs through
No,
ES?
like your very yes, your very first paying job.
But summer jobs are like actual like beyond summer.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay. First paying job like through summer was through the city of East Orange,
Okay.
and I was the pioneer, which started people going to summer arts at Tyson getting paid. Cause I was honest with the mayor. I'm like, I want to do the program, but I want to do summer arts. So what can we do? Because summer arts is all day, and we're not allowed to work past this time. So what can I do? And they're like, let's do a startup program, and that'll be your summer job. And I'm like, all right, let's go with it. So then I did it, successful. And then the next year, that's when all of y'all were able to come on board and do the same thing.
Get that money. Thanks, Tashena.
Welcome. So that was my first like summer job, which wasn't bad. Like, it was cool and all. First official job was through Harambe. I
I haven't heard that in so long.
right, and it's still there. It's still open.
Really?
Yeah, people I used to work with there is still there. I'm like, oh my god. So that was through Reverend Birkin's wife that used to be pastor over across the street at Elmwood.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I have a job for you. Are you interested? Like, come see me. I'm like, okay. And then, it's like a full few hours after school or whatnot. Just start off, and overall it was cool. I started off as a receptionist, and then some drama for your mama happened, and then I ended up as the assistant teacher. But it was still cool because staff overall was cool, the kids were cool. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I was there for like a year, and the only reason why I stopped being there was because the recession started. President Obama just got elected, and he had to clean up the Republican mess.
Yeah.
So, they had to cut staff where they could, and I was first to go. But
Oh,
it was cool.
wow.
'Cause I just focused on college going forward.
Yeah. So question number 8 kind of leads into that. So what type of work do you currently do?
Currently, I am an associate teacher. I will not say the company name in case somebody from there watches this.
Okay.
But I'm there for now. Possibly highly likely transitioning into web development and a
With
bit.
all of these
Yeah,
money degrees, okay? I ain't mad at you.
so we shall see how the negotiations go, but more than likely I will, we shall see.
Yeah. What is so funny though, I realized that a lot of people in our graduating class, again, I will not mention the year, even though we are very proud of the year we graduated. I think we used to boast in that so much. And now we're in 2020. It's like almost dreadful to say what year we graduated. But
Mhm.
everybody, for the most part, most of us started off in education.
Yeah.
A lot of us became like teachers of some sort. And I'm just like, all of us just rebels. Nobody went except for Giovanna Mayo. Shout out to Giovanna Mayo, who went to like performing arts, school for performing arts, and I think maybe a few other people. But
Mhm.
most of our class went into education.
Mhm.
That is funny. And we gave our teachers the hardest time, and now we are the
Mhm.
teachers. Okay, question number 9. What what's a common misconception about little people?
A common misconception.
Hmm?
I feel like they think I'm a mythical creature that just that cracked from an egg and just existed, like like I bleed unicorn blood, and
Oh God,
I'm
not
just saying, like
mythical.
that's how people act, like I'm not a human, so
She
I,
said bleed unicorm blood. I can't. I cannot.
I dig for gold in my spare time and go after you if you steal my pot of gold and all that stuff, because they have the leprechaun and
Yeah,
Cupid and elves and all that craziness, and somewhere in there I'm part of it somewhere.
part of that lineage. Oh my God. But I mean, listen, and it's so I never even thought about that either. Like leprechauns, elves, they're mostly every now and again you'll get a movie with like a average size elf, but even them for their people, they're like outcasts, right? Because that's not what you're supposed to be. So I can only imagine what goes on in the kid's mind when they see a little person. They
Mhm,
automatically gravitate to those
mhm.
false stories of like, oh, are you an elf? Are you a you a
Yeah,
leprechaun?
and then it burns my blood even more, because then you have parents that don't know how to like rightly explain, and instead of saying, what, let's go up and ask her, let's see if she'll talk to us about herself. Like, I remember I was in Rainbow one time, this was years ago, and a little girl was scared of me or whatever, and I heard the conversation with her dad, like, oh yeah, she's scared, huh? Like, yeah, she's scared. Like, Like, why are you perpetuating that into her mind? Like, no, she's a human just like you. She's just short. She's an adult.
Exactly.
Like that's how like the the cycle of ignorance just continues, and it just makes me so upset because especially
Oh
like
my.
as for me, but now like with my son, I'm so fearful of like what he's gonna encounter going forward,
Hmm.
and it's like trying to figure out how to prepare him for that.
Yeah, prepare him for this
Yeah,
crazy, crazy, crazy world.
yeah.
Okay. Question number 10. I think I kind of know the answer to this, but I'm gonna let you explain it the way you want to explain it. So, how was slash is your dating life?
Okay, do you want to start with the was or the is?
It doesn't matter. Oh, I guess you could do past tense and then present tense.
Well, dating was a struggle because most men have a fetish in wanting to sleep with a little person because they swear that it's gonna be different and like to have that notch on their belt. Like, yeah, I
Are
slept
you serious?
um as a heart attack. You almost made me cuss. I was about to say dead, you know what? But yes,
Family
I know,
friendly.
I did. I caught myself. But yes, girl, like it's so real.
Oh my gosh. I wasn't expecting that. So I don't know the answer because I wasn't expecting that. Are you serious? Oh,
Yes, yes.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not. I'll ask you off camera what that conversation looks like.
Girl.
I whoa. Okay, so yeah, I can imagine that it is very much a struggle because
Yeah, because you're like, are you really into me and looking past the fact that or are you just trying to butter me up so you can sleep with me and be able to tell all your friends that you slept with me? And then, so that was always the struggle. Currently, there is no struggle because currently I am in a relationship, and I'll just leave it at that because everybody don't know my business. I mean, if you know me, you know, and if you don't know me, just know that I am spoken for and not looking to help you fulfill any fantasies.
I gotta love her, man. Okay. I think we kind of talked about this, but you can elaborate more. Question number 11.
Mhm.
Did you ever experience any discrimination due to your size?
Um, hmm. I feel I might have, but like I said, it's hard
To distinguish, yeah.
when you're two types of minorities. Actually, three because
A woman.
in dwarf and black. It's either, oh, all my diversity points and one higher, or not exactly what I'm looking for.
Right.
So, I'm pretty sure I think I went on one job interview. Well, I handed in my resume and it was supposed to be like a receptionist for a like a clothing store or something like that. But first of all, it was in the cut. It was like over where the truckers be, and I was like, and I probably didn't fit the look they were looking for. And I'm pretty sure like as soon as I walked in the door, they just threw my resume in the garbage. But it was cool. But I don't think I've experienced anything blatant. Like
Hmm.
interviewers now know that they have to be like super duper careful in how they treat, because if it does come out that it was because of my dwarfism, ADA will be all over their behinds. So
Right. And
they
you will
have
own all the company.
I mean, I wouldn't want to. It's just like, be fair. Don't say you're,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
equal opportunity and, like, oh no. So, if there has been, it hasn't been blatant that I could like.
Right. Okay. Okay. Question number 12. Do you feel like there are slash were things you couldn't do because of your size?
Well, I couldn't play in the WNBA. I can't,
Girl.
I can't race Usain Bolt. Um,
This
Um,
girl played too much.
I mean,
No,
like,
no WNBA.
what else? What else can I do? That's about it. I might have to ask somebody for help to reach something on the top shelf. Or, I mean, if I find a little ladder or whatever,
I'm about to say to Gina, don't act like you don't be climbing. 'Cause
oh
she
yeah,
will,
I
she will climb before she acts.
yep, yep.
I don't
Yep.
understand it. I'm right here. Like,
Nope.
I didn't never get it. I never got it. I just never got it.
First one says the same thing. Like I'm pulling out the step ladder, I'm like, why are you asking me? I'm standing right here. Like wow, when I could just do it. Like I don't know. Like I just try to be independent because
That's what I was gonna say. Yes.
be relying on somebody and needing help. Like
Yeah.
like I try and get it done myself, and then if I can't figure out how to do it myself, that's when I'll ask for help reluctantly, but
Very
not
reluctantly.
like, hey, can
Okay, you let me get that.
uh-huh.
So what about like roller coasters? I mean, I know the answer, but like,
Ah,
what about roller coasters?
roller coasters, I cannot do. That is one thing I cannot do, and I don't really miss out on that too much because there's certain height requirements, and then not just that. Depending on the way the roller coaster goes, like I'm more susceptible to like spine injuries and like spinal compression and stuff like that, which can paralyze me or whatnot. So I just tend to stay away from them. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm missing out. When I was a kid, I was like, oh man, I want to go on a roller coaster with my friends. But I mean, you know, I'm as an adult, I'm like, yeah, it's all good. That's like the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons why I didn't do Donny Park when we went for the class
Yeah.
trip. I'm like, I'm not going to just sit around and watch y'all go on everything, and I can't even go on most of the stuff with y'all. And
You didn't miss anything.
I'm sure.
It rained. It rained. It. I was determined to still be in that wave pool, and it was pouring down. I was just like, you didn't miss anything. Okay. So question number 13. We're almost at the end. Question number 13. Tell us about your pregnancy and your children.
My babies, I love them so.
We will insert pictures. Mhm.
So my daughter was born in 2018. She is average height. Yes, people with dwarfism can have children that are average height. We don't just pop out dwarfs all the time. It's a 50-50 chance. And then if you have an average height partner, that also increases the risk, well, not risk, but the chances of having an average height child. If I had a child with a person with dwarfism, then it would be about 75%. But it gets tricky because the child could either inherit a dwarf gene from me, a regular gene from the father, or their gene and a regular gene from me. But if they get both genes, then that would be considered fatal. Is be double dominant, and most times those children don't survive. But thankfully that wasn't the case because I had average height partner that I had children with. She's 2, going on.
22.
Yes, yes. Um, she's a ball of energy, uh, super sweet, and I don't know if you wanted me to go into her medical stuff or not, but
I mean, you don't have to. If
yeah,
you want to, you don't have to though.
yeah, because I don't really know how to. I'm still trying to figure out how that came about, but
Yeah.
that one
So,
is like the mystery.
yeah. So baby girl and then baby boy.
Yeah, baby boy, born into this mess of 2020, born on the
COVID baby.
yes. I got him on Wendy that said that too. And
I think most parents got
we're gonna do a whole COVID shoot with him having a Lysol can and all that with him. But
my godson's mom. The shoot we did. I'll show you the picture. She did that like Lysol wipes things with his onesie. That's how I was born into this mess.
yes. So he was born on the day the first case was officially announced in New Jersey. He's born with achondroplasia like me. He has a whole story that I will tell on in January because from the time I was pregnant with him, like the doctors were like fearful that he wasn't gonna make it and whatnot. But he's living, he's thriving, he's surviving. Him and his sister taught me about growth in different ways. Because with my daughter it was a weight struggle, and with him it's going to be height. So they're teaching me to not go by the status quo, not go by these charts and whatnot. And
Yeah.
so long as they're healthy, then that's all that really matters to me.
Yes. And how was your pregnancies the same with both of them, or was it different?
No. With my daughter it was like amazing. I didn't have any of the morning sickness. I think I maybe threw it once, and that was because I took medicine and didn't eat. I didn't gain that much weight. I didn't really blow up weight wise until the end when I wasn't working no more. With my son, I was nauseous a little bit in the first trimester, and he was heavy. He was heavy. He was hurting my hips and the whole nine. I was looking like a beach whale or looking like I swallowed a watermelon. Um, uh, and so yeah, it was different with both of them. But I liked my daughter's pregnancy a little bit better.
And that's weird because they say with boys the pregnancies are typically,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they switch roles. My daughter was easy. I mean, my son was like, nope.
Okay. Where are we? I always lose my spot. I was supposed to go 14. 14. We're right here. Question number 14. List 5, if you can, 5 of the
Sure.
most common questions you get.
5, only 5. Okay.
I mean, you can run down more if you haven't, but at least 5.
Okay. Why are you so short? Are your parents short too? What else did they ask me? Why is your head so big? Are you a midget? Can you drive? How do you drive? What else is? What else is? What else?
only
No?
the PG question.
Oh,
Because
girl.
I'm pretty sure some other.
Oh God.
I know that driving question is definitely something.
Oh my gosh. I remember I was on my way to work one time and my neighbor stopped. Mind you, this neighbor saw me grow up when I was still in my parents' house and stopped me like, I didn't know you drove. Can I look in the car? How are you driving? Like I'm on my way to work here. Hello. Like, really? Like I drive just like you. I hop in the car. Only thing is I put on the shoe so that I can drive. Like, cause some doors get pedal extenders, but those things are expensive, and the ones I got weren't reliable. Like the pedal kept like flopping, and I'm like, that's not a good look if I'm trying to brake in an emergency and the thing just. So I used one of those gothic platform shoes and just hop in the car, put the shoe on, and go. Like that's how I drive. Like there's
Literally,
nothing
she
special going
goes.
on.
Literally.
Hand control. Yep. No hand controls, nothing. Like
Right.
drive just like you, just closer to the wheel.
Yeah. People and their questions.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that those are some. She gave us 6. She gave us. Oh, I'm pretty sure there were a lot more questions that you could give us. Okay. Question number 15. Last, but definitely not least. What would you say to any little person out there who may be having a hard time?
Oh man. Okay. So
Don't
first,
cry, Tashena.
I'm gonna try not to, because it's like, because I think of like what to say to him to like instill in him and build him up. So don't let people steal your humanity. You are just as much of a human as anybody else. You're just short. And one day the world will realize, and one day the world will realize that, it's not okay to make fun of your difference, because only difference between you and someone else is that you're short. You can do anything you want to do just as much as an average height person. Um, for girls, you don't have to accept a man that just wants to have sex with you because he wants to be able to tell all his friends he has sex with a low person. For guys, you're just as much as a man as anybody else. And if a job passes you up, that's their loss. There's gonna be something out there for you. And if it's blatant that you didn't get it because of your height, then go through the proper channels and get them flagged. Um, it's rough. It's rough out here, and you're gonna have to go through stuff where people, take your picture, or God forbid, actually put their hands on you, thinking that you want to be thrown across the room. Thankfully, that hasn't happened to me, but that's the big reason why I like avoid bars or places where I know people are going to be drunk. If someone's scared of you because of your height, they're ignorant, straight up and down. They're ignorant, because I'm pretty sure you're an amazing person, and your height isn't something to be scared of. Don't let your height limit you. Like, however far, whatever you want to do it. Get all the education, experience, and if no one wants to open the door for you, then damn it, build your own door. Excuse my French. But don't limit yourself. Don't just think that because you're little, only thing you could do is be Cupid on Valentine's Day and the leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day. Like, be more than that. Matter of fact, don't even go for roles like that. Like, look at Peter Dinklage. He was like the guy in Game of Thrones, and he didn't get that role playing yeah, he was a dwarf, and yeah, it came up in the show, but it wasn't him hired to be a dwarf. It was him hired because he was the right person for the job. So aim high. Don't sell yourself short. That the only thing short about you be your height.
Yes, I love it. Yay, yay. And he was. I mean, the guy who's in front, he played in other stuff too. Like, he's funny. He is funny. He was like actually one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones.
He doesn't go for roles where it's like degrading. Like, so you're not gonna see him as a leprechaun, an elf, or anything like that, because he's trying to get people to look at us like, look, we can act, we can be like, we can play any role. We don't have to be in these typical roles that you view us as.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, Tashena. We thank you for sitting through our 15 questions with a few bonus questions up in there. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you. And guys, thank you all for watching this video, this episode of Ask 15 Questions 2. I pray that you take all of this information that Tashena gave us and you take it. We no longer use the term midget. We now know the information. You are held accountable. Okay, so if you decide to still use that term after getting the information of how degrading and like harsh it is to even say that, that's your business. And whatever repercussions come with you saying that, that's your business. I ain't warning you. But as I tell you all the time, make sure that you are living in purpose on purpose. Bye.
I believe everything I said is true. The word is inside you.